to quite a few people now, and so what I usually do, and myself do, is to give an update every single month. It's a forum. You're more than welcome to ask any questions. We're full transparency here. You're not happy with the commission split, whatever, man. You let me know. We also go around to talk about.
Do you know where it's your size group?
Hang on, what does Marty want to do?
Well,
just show me. I'll do it for you.
Let's turn this guy off. Mute this guy. So I guess first thing is recent achievements.
What do you want to go on your or?
Please mute your mic. Thank you. So welcome to the people down in Victoria, Sydney. I think there's one from Hobart as well. But yeah, this is one of every single month. So recent achievements. I think the one I've had some attention on is the Innovation Award. So we submitted a submission to the RIQ, and then we were nominated for the RIQ Innovation Award. I guess based on a few things. Number one, I guess based on the fact that our agent do property management and has a stable income, a passive income, which I think quite a few people in this room have already exercised that option. And that's a great thing to do. That's probably good. And the second thing we submitted was based on the fact that we got Afterpay, small one, but, it was semi-significant. And third, it was on the basis of the prospecting team, which is something very different and unique that a lot of agents do not have. That's why. And so we had an interview. Coming out of that. The winners will be announced next year in March. The second thing, I suppose, significant is Eric. I don't know if you know the real estate conference. Probably labeled as the most significant and the most important real estate conference in the world. Started by John McGrath 25 years ago. People have been invited, such as John McGrath, Tom Panos, Donald Trump came in via satellite link once. So this is the conference of all conferences. You guys, man. We're up next door to you guys. I think it's something like 5,000 people attend this conference from around the country and in New Zealand. I think it's always been the Gold Coast. So that's Eric, something that you might. As part of the sponsorship, you can go along and have a listen. All these great speakers on panel. Good place to go. The other one was I think one something. Hey, Leanna, morning. Second Life. This is on a drive. I don't know.
Paul, it's Tony here. Your mic's quite low. Can't really hear you.
So instead of meeting in this room like this, in the future, people are going to meet online via virtual reality. Instead of just talking. Walk around. A little animate. Express yourself as the way you like it. The idea is represent reality. This is the next big thing of real estate at the moment. This idea, other platform, another industry, and I thought.
Paul, sorry, Daniel here. Would you kindly speak louder?
We've got our first agent in Tasmania now.
Can you hear us?
Sales this month. Rogers done well, Phil's done well. Ron's closed his first one. Our promise. welcome. Can you hear me now? Sorry, I just got to hear me now. Is that better?
Oh, yes, a lot better. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So that's my commitment to everyone. So my accountant who sits in Sydney, Dean, he will process the payment within 24 hours of the commission settling. Unlike other companies out there, not to make any names, but it took a while for your principal to pay you. That's cool. That's cool. That's our commitment. That's our commitment. There's no reason sitting in a trust account. And that's what I was asking. Always get more than your commission in trust. It saves us a lot of effort. Otherwise, I don't know if you know the drill. If you don't get enough in your trust account, if you charge, 3% and you get 1%, what will happen is I will need to send someone literally. Have you seen anything in settlements? It's a really boring process, man. Really boring process. I don't even know why they don't do it digitally. People in Brisbane, it's in the city centre, it's the Commonwealth office. Basically, what they do is two people sit across each other. Each one has a check for a few documents, and they just stop. That's it. And they say, see you later, bye. It's stupid. Yeah, it's stupid. So what it means is someone from the office literally has to go to the Egyptian goalpost. Someone has to drive all the way to the goalpost at the appointed time and date at the office and literally sit there and wait for the check. It is a pain in the backside. So I will always recommend get more to cover your commission in trust. Yeah, 5% is cool. 1,000 plus 5% is always a standard. But that's, the lot of sales this month. Quite a few good listings. Adam's doing really well, quite a few listings. And there's other people in other states that's doing really well. So that's good. That's good. That's correct, yeah. That's correct, yeah. So I would always, in every single state, every single transaction, always get more than what you can. Yeah. Property management, hotel management. I think we've got a few new ones coming on board. We've got a few property managers now. We also have people that come on board as independent contractors for PM. Because the whole model really is you have your business and you can do exactly the same in PM too. So people that come on board as independent contractors, what they do is they can either choose, I think there's 3 splits, 90-10, 60-40, 10-90. If they have an trust account, they choose the 90-10 and it saves on the realestatedomain.com subscription. That's a lot every month. A lot of people with our sales agents, they choose the 60-40, for example. St. Gita's is a good example. And every month you get paid a regular income. I think it's a great way to sustain your sales without a debit credit. And I think I hate debit credit, because of the fact it just ruins relationships. Hate to sit there after 3 months and say, look, sorry, Ian, but your performance ain't up to scratch. I'm going to let you go. But, before you go, sign this document because I want all my money back. That's debit and credit, literally. You don't like it? Let's go to QCAT. I'll take it. It's a contract we've signed. I hate that. So I'd rather just people have a business and have a constant income coming through. Another thing we've done, or I've done, is certainly a prospecting schedule. And I would love everyone to email me with a time and date from 3 to 6, Monday to Friday, Saturday from 9 to 5. I'm happy to be there with you in the car. All right? All my sales managers can do this in the car, prospect with you. So Gita and I did it, on Friday? We got a listing today in Mango Hill. We literally knocked on someone's door and said, excuse me, blah, 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 agent isn't working for you. What's going on? And they said, look, we don't like these people. They charge us $3. It's the same story. We always do OTMs because that's the most successful. Because our model favors OTMs. We don't have to charge them any marketing for the pictures. They've already got the pictures. I can absorb the $100, whatever, to get on realestate.com. It's not a problem. So we've got a listing. It's pretty much a guaranteed listing, I think, this afternoon, just like that. And so I think, maybe a prospecting, I am happy to be your servant in this because it favors you and also favors the company, right? Because, my time is better spent listing. And I love listing. I love listing things. I don't mind spending time listing because once we get the listing, the rest is pretty easy. Listing is what counts. Prospecting and listing is what counts. Selling, is hard to sell. It takes time. But look, selling really isn't that difficult all the time. So I would love, if you need me, if you want me to be with you for a few hours, I'm happy to do it. Show you the method first. We usually get a few listings. So the point of these exercises, and there's no secret to it, it's a driving map. It's a Google driving map. We import that from RP data. It goes into CSV file. We do a map. We literally drive around, and we have a brochure and we have a script. At this time of the year, the script's very easy. Blah blah blah. We've got people wanting to move in for the school catchment. We saw your properties on the market for a while. Do you need some help with that? This guy literally on Friday came and chased us because we were speaking to the wife. The wife was a bit hesitant. And then the husband then came out and chased us down and said, oh, man, please help us sell this property. We're desperate. We're going back to New Zealand. This current agent isn't doing very much for us. Help us. I said, sure, we'll help you. We're trying to help you. And so what I usually do is a different way. So because this particular house, it's in the development, so we can kind of guarantee the return and then sell it onwards to an investor. Self-funded super fund. That's also a common strategy. So just email me. I love to work with people, and sometimes I have to approach an agent and say, look, can we sit down 3 to 5? Let's do it because I need some listings from your territory. I don't mind doing it at all. Any suburb. New partners, affiliates. Second Life, as I said before, we're looking at that at the moment. There's been a few requests from a few agents about DocuSign. I'll be 100% forthright with it. I pay a lot for DocuSign per account. I've tried many, many times to get another user onto DocuSign, but DocuSign's response has always been, you got to pay another set of fees. I'm not going to pay another $1,000 for users. So what we've tried to do is there's 2 methods around that. DocuSign definitely works. It's great. But instead of emailing my support team or myself or anyone else to DocuSign the documents, I think a better option would be to DocuSign yourself. And there's a company called PleaseSign, which we've been looking at. If you want an account, let me know. I can give you an account. Not a problem. It's an Australian company. The only disadvantage of PleaseSign is the fact you cannot attach documents. We chose those DocuSign, Adobe and EchoSign. The reason why we chose DocuSign was the fact that you can attach documents onto your applications, especially good for residential applications. But look, if you're a salesperson, you're into rentals, PleaseSign is adequate, 100%. Right, and on there, we've already got all the standard forms and contracts for New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania, and Queensland. For an account, let me know. I'll shoot you an email. You can become a registered account user, and you can DocuSign yourself. And we've had DocuSign contracts. We DocuSign contracts all the time. We do that all the time.
You're quite happy for us to go through you to use DocuSign for the time being?
Yeah, my support, not a problem. But I think eventually as we grow, I would prefer if everyone can use the PleaseSign themselves, which is another company, but exactly the same. Exactly the same. The only thing you can do is attach documents.
I was going to say, Paul, with that cost, it's tax deductible. It's tax deductible. It's operating cost.
Yeah. But PleaseSign is part of the company. It's complimentary.
Yeah.
It's complimentary.
Free.
It's free for you. Yeah. It's not free, but it's free for you.
There'll be a point where
it's up to you. Yeah. But REIQ has a 70% discount with DocuSign.
Oh, okay.
But if you don't want to pay for it, PleaseSign's fine for salespeople. It really is. And how all these documentation softwares work is you have to set the fields beforehand. So you have to populate where people can sign, where people can initial, and then you send across, and then they come back. But it's very, very useful. Very, very useful. There's actually a training video on that one. Please sign if you want that. IT development project, and this is essential. I've got a few people looking at this at the moment. I think innovation is a big part of the business. One of the things I've been working on is prospecting. And I think I've said this before. I've got a guy at the moment working on this project right now, and that is to go to a website such as Flatmates or the for sale by owner websites, and you basically just literally email everyone. It's an automatic book. The reason why we do that is because we want the vendor's details. We want the landlord's details. because on Flatmates, most of the time it's the landlords looking for rooms to rent out. For sell by owner, these websites are usually the landlords that will respond to you. And I've got a guy working this at the moment. One button, you type in the suburb, and it goes out to every single vendor in that suburb. So to make sure it doesn't get caught by spam. ACMA might be on us, but I think it's fine because there's a few disclaimers we put in. But it's like someone sitting on the screen, literally going to flatmates.com and clicking on every single landlord, and then typing the same script, dear, and then first name, capture. We sell your rooms in the market right now. Do you need a hand finding tenants? Yeah, of course. I want some money. We're a real estate agency. We specialize in grooming, for example, and that's the income for you guys. Or do you need a hand selling a property? If they don't, that's okay. As long as they reply, we capture the detail, it gets put in the database. That is, I think, is a very powerful script. Once this is done, we're going to go for a patent because I don't think anyone else does this. I think anyone does this. And it's something that you need to do, I think, to be innovative. Yeah.
Good sales opportunity for even a lot of tenants. Landlords might have their property vacant. They're doing management themselves. You've got it vacant for 4 weeks. You might actually be in a contemplative state of, I might sell this, turn it over. I haven't rented it for 4 weeks. Last term, 6 months ago, I had the same challenge. I'll put it on the market. So it's no to management immediately on the property manager and the sales agent.
Yeah, that's the idea. I mean,
well, the other investment properties will be coming down to most likely down during the interest rate rises.
Yeah.
A lot more properties in the market next year.
Yeah. Yeah. The key really to getting listing is to have the contact with the owner. And to do that, you need the details.
Yeah.
You need the details. Whatever you can do, you can knock on the door. The mobile number, the email address are gold.
Yeah.
Gold. If you don't want to sell it now, it's okay. Wait 5 years, I'll sell with you eventually. That's something I've been working on. That's one project that we've been doing. I thought today, in terms of training, are there any other questions for training purposes? The basic stuff, if you have any problem with CRM, we have training for CRM, we have training for RP data, we have training for HomePass. It's all recorded. But is there anything else that in the room or anyone virtually? No. In that case, I just thought one of the training things that we're going to do today is options and developments. We've got, I don't know, so many people. Adam knows this. Adam is in a property development group with me. We do some property developments together. But splitter blocks is gold. Splitter block is absolutely gold. What's a splitter block? A splitter block, I've got people literally calling me, if you got a splitter block, pass it on, we'll buy it off market, we'll give you cash. Yeah, no problem. We'll give you cash. It's recorded anyway. All right, see you guys. Good luck. Yeah, we'll give you cash. Does everyone know what a splitter block is? Yeah. So basically, there's a difference between title and lots. Right? So you can have one title, one lot, which is very common. You can have one title, two lots. You can have two titles, two lots. So a splitter block is basically a property or a piece of land that's got already two titles and two lots. Right? The reason for that is, why do people want them? Because it makes them money. It makes them money. You can sell the land off. All right, because it's already titled, you just sell it off. Right? If it hasn't been through titles, then you convert the lot to a title. You get a title's office, get a title, blah blah blah, easy. Separate title, $20,000 to $25,000, you make $120,000, $130,000. People love them. It's a guaranteed money maker. And the difficulty for a lot of developers, and there's a guy called Matt Jones in Brisbane. He's got about 3,000 members, and every single one of the members want a splitter block. If you find a splitter block, I would keep it to yourself because buy yourself and do it, because you can make $100,000, $120,000, $130,000 in 4 weeks. But if you haven't got the money or the investor network, that's okay. We've got people that want splitter blocks now. You find a splitter block. Think about it, right? How do you find a splitter block? Very, very easy. It's everywhere. So I'll just use RP data. So, the thing about property is, I call it the property ladder. You start from the very bottom. The very bottom is, you buy and hold. That's simple. Buy and hold, and then cosmetic renovations, another one. And then it goes all the way up to building apartments and townhouses at the very top. But a splitter block, I would say, is very, very easy. 3. Second or third, most difficult thing, the most easy thing to do. The way you find this is very simple. You type a suburb. So a splitter, by definition, has 2 titles on one property. So imagine the address. You can see them by the address, 24 to 26 Adder Street, Toowong, for example. You always see them. I will pick my favorite suburb, which is Toowong. I love this suburb. So Toowong. And then this is the same in every single state. If you've got 2 titles on a property, that is gold. And usually, if the house sits on the border or the border of the 2 titles, you can move the house, you can demolish the house, but it really doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is quickly, I'm going to show you, this is a quick training before Graham comes. And so what I'm going to do is I always look at houses and land. So when we do the prospecting these days, we don't waste time driving around looking for apartments. Number 1, apartments in every single state sell slower than houses. Number 2, apartments really hard to get to the owner because they're locked upstairs. Where houses, you can knock on their door. We always do houses, bread and butter houses in every single state. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this, houses and land. And our splitter block, there's a thing called the minimum size. Every single council has a minimum size of subdivision. For example, in Brisbane, for example, it's 400 square meters. Unless you're 200 meters to a main shopping center, then it becomes 300 square meters. And the trend these days is people are living smaller and smaller blocks. No one wants an acre anymore. People want small blocks. You'll see this around here in Milton, in Auckland Flower, Hawthorne, Bulimba. People pay $1 million, $2 million for a 300 square meter property. I saw a property last year in West End. The buyers bought it for the catchment. It was a 210 square meter block, 1.5 million. Beautiful house, sure, but it's such a small block. There's no gardens, nothing, but it's right next to the State High. And that's the point. So the way I do it is I always look at minimum land size. I prefer anything over 1,000 square meters. And I'll show you one of the targets right now I'm working on. I don't mind sharing this with you. I would love to buy that block and split it. Toowong, those people on the phone, Toowong is a really hot area at the moment in Brisbane, inner city, very, very hot. So I'm going to do 1,000 square meters, and then, so anything that's of 1,000 square meter comes up, either 3,000, 1,000, etc. That's a house or land, and then I'm going to export this. There's 163, select all, export to CSV, blah, 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 yes, agree. So these are all the properties in Toowong, over 1,000 square meters, right? That's a house or land. So no apartments, no government buildings, no body corp, no commercial stuff, just residential. And then on the Excel spreadsheet, this is where the fun really begins. And, as I said, I love Toowong. I've been selling Toowong for a while now. And it's kind of my suburb. So next thing you got to do is you can obviously sort this, right, by size. So I can find who owns the largest land holding in Toowong and then work myself down. Because obviously the idea is the larger the land, the more likely is to split the block, right? So I can do that very easily. I can sort that. All right, I want to do it by land size. All right, I want to do it by largest to smallest. Okay, so you can see this is Toowong. You can do this in any suburb. This guy here, man, he owns a crazy amount of land. So there's 804,000 square meters. All right, some of these people own a crazy amount of land. I can tell you, I've got one at the moment I'm talking to right now. She's in a situation, the 7 Ds, debt, divorce, distant, blah, blah, blah. She's in one of these situations. So that is a great opportunity. Look, it's a business opportunity. My heart goes out to her, but look, I'm helping her to sell. And she's going to sell to one of my investors. And there's a thing called no money down, which Adam and I love talking about, which is using other people's money to make money. So in real estate, you don't have to necessarily list projects or properties. You can actually make 50% of the profit of that property using other people's money. Because all our we got tons of investors. People are ready to go. We got a surgeon who's got tons of money. He goes, Paul, in his live box. So you give me some time to find these. He's got money ready to go. You want $1 million? Here's $1 million cash. Right? What do you want to do with it? Oh, we're going to split 20,000. Can I have 20,000? No problem. Play with it. 20,000. In 4 weeks, I want to have 50% of the profit. You have the time and the effort. I will give you the money. Lay money down. Look, it's very, very easy. And the way to find this is obviously the bigger the better. Right, some of these land are huge, 3,000. And then obviously you come across, you will see the zoning. The zoning is very, very important. For anything that's subdividable or splittable, you want something that's as less restrictive as possible. So you want something that has no character on it, for example, that has no easement on it, nothing that the council has imposed on the land. So you can see all these ones, future urban, that's great, future urban, that's great, which means in the future the council wants to put buildings on it, right? Residential R3, blah, blah, blah. And you see the zoning, low, medium density. So, in Sydney, it's R3, R4. In Melbourne, it's called something else. Basically, low, medium density in Brisbane City Council means you can build units and townhouses on it. LMR2 means 2 stories tall, right? And these are things that most agents do not know, but, so here's one. So this is a splitter block. I know this because it's got one address. The address, you can be 29 Burns Road, Toowong, right? 4066 house. It's 1,917 square. That's gold in Toowong. Toowong's around the corner. It's a $1 million suburb, right? It's a splitter block because it's LMR, number one, which means you can build apartments and townhouses on it, right? If I can get the owners to sell, especially off market, my investor will buy with cash. Settle in 1 week. No building impact, nothing. 1 week cash. Why? Because you can split this. It's got 2 titles on it. L1, L11, RP, etc. L6, blah, blah, blah. It's got 2 titles already on a single property. Man, you can sell that piece of land. So for you to sell anything, you gotta have a title, right? This one's already titled. It's got 2 titles. Still one of the titles. You have to do something to the house. The house might be on 2 titles. You have to move the house to 1 title. You have to rotate the house, whatever. But it doesn't matter, right? What matters is it's got 2 titles already. This one here is then more crazy. It's got that many titles. This is probably something else. This is probably it's a unit. Okay, sorry. Must be a unit. But yeah, look, there's many things here with multiple titles. This one here has multiple titles. This one here has multiple titles. All right, 2 lots on 1 title. Lot 60, Lot 63, 65 on 1 title, RP 20777. I guess that's what I do a lot right these days is to look after my investors and my clients. I'm going to be flying down to Melbourne very soon. So there's some people on the phone in Melbourne, Tony, for example. So these guys are doing something a bit different. You can make money by finding money. So one of the projects we're doing right now for Tony and my partners down there, operate a call center, is their developers need money. And I said, sure, no problem. So now what am I going to do for you is I'm going to introduce you to someone. Actually, Phil, we met someone last week in Brisbane as well, a developer looking for money. And how much are you looking for? 40 million. Okay, I said, no problems. All right. I said, here's what we're going to do, right? We're going to sign a contract. You're going to give me 3% finance fee. 40 million, 3% is 1.2 million. 1.2 million, right? Our job is to find the money. Now, because I guess, we're a little bit different, background's a little bit different, that kind of stuff. We've got some people around us that's got tons of money. Yeah.
Why bigger block? Small problem? What happened?
Okay. The question is why is splittable more favorable? Because a lot you cannot sell. You can only sell a title. So it's just like I had a block of units in Balgowlah in Sydney, unstructured, which means it's a block of units. There's 3 units in it, but the units don't have titles. So you can't sell the units individually. And the easiest thing for an investor to do is to strata units. I love unstructured unit blocks because it takes about 25K. You go to council, or in this case, Manly City Council. You say, look, I've got 3 units, blah, blah, blah. I want to give the units each title, and then you sell the units individually off. And you make a bit of killing. Because you cannot sell things without title. Correct. Yeah. Sewage connected, electricity infrastructure, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, that's something we do. So anyway, I was saying before, if you can find the money, and the guys down in Melbourne at the moment is doing exactly this. We've got a developer who's in need of cash, There's a good one, actually, that we did. We're selling the one opposite us. It's a block opposite us, owned by Cocada. Cocada was so desperate to get cash. Now, I know the guy that put this deal together. Goldman Sachs, one of the leading investment banks in the world. Now, Goldman Sachs is not cheap. If you're desperate for money, you go to Goldman Sachs, right? You avoid, a lot of banks don't bother with developers these days. It's too risky. So this is Cocada. These are the guys next door. They've got a project in Melbourne, which we're doing. We are very, very good friends with the directors. These guys need more money. You wouldn't go to Goldman Sachs if you can borrow from a bank. Goldman Sachs charges premium interest. Right? These are the leading investment bank in the world. And what these guys have done is, if we can put this deal together, right, this is a $120 million project, right? Our standard finder's fee for financiers is 3%. And there's plenty of very wealthy people out there, and obviously, my background's in finance. So I know a few people that's got some money. And that's what finance people do. They put the deal together in exchange for that 3% commission. There's no selling, there's no listing. It's a matter of finding the money for the developer. And the more desperate they are, the higher you can charge. And that's business. My heart goes out to developer, but that's what developers do at the moment. They can't get money. No banks will lend developers money unless you've got a huge track record. Right? And that's a good example. And we are selling that block at the moment. So Sam, the director, said to me, look, we need some money for this project down in Melbourne. I said, fine. What do you need? Number one, sell this property. I said, fine. How much do you need? 60 million. Okay, I'll charge you 5% commission because you're desperate. That's number one. Number two, I need more money. I said, fine. What do you want to do? Give me more money for this project down in Melbourne. It's called the Melbourne. I built a very wealthy area in Melbourne. I said, look, I'll find you some money. My fees are 3%. How much do you need? 100 million. Okay, no problem. That's $3 million. And then what happens usually is we put in a unit trust. Each person buys a unit, blah, 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 and where we go. Anyway, that's just an example in real estate. Real estate is much more than just listing, selling, rentals. There's so many ways to make money. So many ways to make money. And one of my favorite ways is to find people money without lifting too much. You don't have to run around and drive around like crazy and knock on people's doors. All you have to do is make a few phone calls. Do you want to invest in a 40% return project? So why is it 40%? Well, this is the situation. Much better than putting your money in a savings fund or a super fund. It's 40% return, man, a year. And, obviously they're attracted to the return. Just an example, and then we can talk about that as well later on. Another thing is options. I don't even know it's not options. That's the way to make money. Yeah, Savvy's on some options. But options is very popular at the moment. Not everyone understands options, so it's sometimes very, very difficult. Okay, so there's 2 ways to make money. So option is the right to buy or sell without the obligation. Right? And it's very common in the options market for equities, for example, in stock markets. But on properties, it's the right to buy in the future. And in a market such as this, options are more popular because in a hot market, I prefer, if I was the owner of a massive block of land, why should I give you an option? Right? Just give me a standard contract, I'll sign it, I'll sell it. in the markets which slowing down, especially in Sydney and Melbourne, you will see people are coming left, right, and center with options. And if the owner is desperate, they will sign an option. Give me the right to buy your land for $1 million in 1 year's time. All right? Your land could be worth, 3, 4 million, 5 million plus once I get the DA. Once I get the DA, right, I can make the difference. So there's two ways to make money on the option. One is obviously the exit. So if I can get the right to buy the land for $1 million, in 1 year's time after the DA is approved, I can sell for $5 million. I make $4 million in 1 year. That's the exit. The second is to charge the commission to the buyer or the seller. So for example, if you're the seller and I can get you $1 million on settlement, I charge you 3%. That's $30,000. Right? Obviously, I prefer the first method, where you exit the option for them, and you make the profit.
That's the same.
Yeah, put and call. Yeah, put and call options. Put and call options. Any questions for anyone on the phone? Yeah, so there's a few things, are there any other burning questions about anything software-wise or? Lindsay has some problems.
No, this has got like a huge database of and we're just wondering how do we get that in the region?
Yeah, so you can import it,
Yeah.
100%. It needs to be a particular format.
The CSV format?
Yep. The CSV format, you just have to change the headings to match the data.
Okay.
It's very, very easy. So, and the title of the heading has to match the title of the CRM.
Okay. So
It's free.
Do we import it or do they?
I would suggest support imports that. Yeah. And then you have to make sure the data just belongs to you and no one else can see it.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Otherwise, if someone sends out a marketing material, it goes to everyone in your database.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to lock that. Yeah, that's easy. That's easy. We've done that for other people before. Yeah, it's free. No questions? Okay. Anyone on the phone? Questions? No? Okay. So I'm going to do this with Peter. Peter's going to come join us in Sydney actually next month. He's actually in Sydney at the moment. But anyway, but Graham's definitely going to come in at 11 o'clock. But Graham is a seasoned developer. He's we'll talk about it in a second. He has done many, many deals. He's been featured in the paper. He's a splitter block kind of person. He splits things left, right, and center. He makes money for his investors, no money down. He'll tell you all about his development. But he's going to come in to talk about more psychology, how he went from broke. As, a lot of people that I've seen, I met them first time for coffee, was down and out. But he went from nothing to, now reasonably successful. He goes on holidays all the time, and so he's going to come in. But I suppose I'm going to do this with Peter, and then Peter's going to elaborate this next month. So Peter is our Director of Sales at Digital Central. Digital Central is Australia-wide. They do a lot of advertising, et cetera, et cetera. But he was going to talk about basically the new signboards coming through. He's got the new signboards coming through. So we use a few providers for our signboards, but it's got like these ones here. He was going to talk about these ones here, where I've seen a lot of these in Sydney and Melbourne, but not necessarily in Brisbane and other places, where it's solar. I think the cost is about $450. But if you can get the vendors paid for it for a premium property, why not? It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. And there's another one that he was going to talk about, which has got lights on it, which is solar. There's one that's plugged in, and the one that's using solar power. So that's the first one. Yeah. Wow. Quick turnaround?
Yeah. We had that then by 9 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Digital Central is quite good. Wow. Yep. Yeah. 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 Cool. Thanks, Lindsay. So as part of the agreement with Digital Central, they do all the templates for us. So we've got our standard templates. They've got our high resolution logo. All you need to do is contact them and give them your logo, and then do a collaboration, and then they'll give you that in 2 seconds. I think the signs are installed quite quickly too. 24 hours. Signs installed quite quickly. Yeah, there's two types: backlit or plugged into PowerPoint. Yeah, I think that's what Peter was going to talk about, and obviously semi-marketing, semi-update. That's cool, and he was going to talk about that. And there's another company we use called ABC. Look, ABC is massive. It's a mammoth. It's Australia's largest company. Yeah, which is a Graham come in. Yeah, they can come in. Yeah. So yeah, hey Graham. So hey Graham, all right, some coffee. Some coffee. We're just finishing the sales meeting. Just got the flight. All right. So anyway, that's the latest update to the solar, and as I say, I think I highly recommend that. At ABC, however, they're so big. My only problem with ABC at the moment is the pictures is taking a while. They seem to have very high turnover for the photographers because I think they're so cheap. $99 for 10 pictures. I think the photographer probably gets peanuts. Like $40 probably. So that's why they have a high turnover. 100%. For the signboards? 100%, yeah. But you need to upload them. 100%. So we have a system now where everyone has an account with Digital Central and or ABC. So that way, when we first started, we had the centralized system. I think my support team was going nuts because people were going through us to get the orders done. It's much more efficient just do it directly. So if you haven't got one, let us know. And that's another thing, you please email my support team because they're just sitting there waiting to get requests. Another one that I had recently is where Katana probably knows this. If you don't mind, use your example. So another one is websites. I don't know if you know this, but we give out free websites. So this is just an example. It's just we give out free websites to people. So my support team. This is just someone recently we just did for one of the agents in Melbourne. It needs to be changed, obviously, but it's a standard WordPress website. And then what happens is you have to change the name servers in the background for your domain name. Once you get that done, the rest is easy. You just have to learn a little bit of WordPress. That's it, really. I suppose anything's hackable, right? Just make sure the domain name, just make sure the password is secure. 100%. But yeah, we do give our free website. I don't want to take it so long. But we do give our websites for free. We host it for free. But you just have to pick up WordPress, which is really easy to pick up. It's really easy to pick up. All you have to do is just modify the template. You don't need any programming language skills. Modify the text, modify images. It's done. Oh, how's Reg? No? Yes, no?
Well, he after I texted him, I sent it through email on Friday.
Yeah. You need to sack him. Yeah. Oh, you take some action. Keep up the pressure. He's the guy who's been calling. Yeah.
Lead generation is good. Yeah, it's good. So on that, because I was setting the rest of it. You'd recommend the lead generation, but maybe not the website. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so we do have free websites. I'm not too sure it's not working, but we do have free websites. As part of the expansion plan, look, I don't know if you know anyone about real estate in other parts of the world, but there's something called the mutual recognition agreement, which you really should look at. It goes into other states as well. It takes you 1 day to get another license in another state and/or New Zealand. The future plan for expansion definitely is on the cards for next year, is to go into New Zealand. It's very, very simple. It's exactly the same system. Run some hardcore to New Zealand. Done very well in Australia, right? So our expansion plans is definitely there to go into New Zealand. Social media and Zapier. We have a Zapier account in the background, as you know, from the CRM. Zapier is really cool. You can automate your Zapier to post onto LinkedIn, Twitter, you name it, Tumblr, Facebook. In fact, it's set up as an automation already in your back end. I don't know if you've played around with your back end, but you can easily log into Eagle and do the automation yourself So this is the back end. There's an automation for Facebook or something, so there's quite a few, and you can play around with this. And there's one for Twitter as well, where you can, tweet your own listings or price reduction or anything else, because these days it's fully automated, 100%. That's not my button. So, big data and ActivePipe. Okay, so I don't know if anyone's heard of ActivePipe, but speaking with the salespeople on this one, I'm not too sure how good they are, but there's a few people that swears by this. What is it? Big data. Big data is very popular now, where people synthesize all kinds of data and comes up with patterns, and using the patterns trying to make more money. Very, very popular in the stock market. Very, very popular. So these guys and I have been chatting for a little while. Met up for coffee a few times. I'm not 100% convinced, but ActivePipe is definitely out there getting market share. Bray Wyatt loves this stuff. I'm not 100% convinced because I'm yet to see the results, but I think it basically what it does is it goes in your back end, looks at the data, looks at patterns, and then it gives you a list of people to call or ring. So the probability of getting someone that's more likely to sell or rent or whatever is higher. So therefore, you're more efficient. I don't know, man. Look, we've got all kinds of prospecting techniques already. But I just have to weigh up the cost and benefits. If you want a free trial, I'm happy to give you a free trial. They've said to me, look, free trial. But I'm not 100% convinced. That's the current. Oh yeah. Very similar. They're good. Realty. Wow. Well, our CRM does. I don't know if you see the CRM. Our CRM. I'll show the back end just real quick. Our CRM does that. It tracks people's. You can see whether they've opened up or how many times it's clicked. In fact, I have an automation. If someone's clicked on a listing more than 5 times, remind a task to give them a call. Because obviously someone's really keen on this property. Otherwise we've been clicking 5 times. There's one here, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but if someone clicks it 5 times, there you go. A contact has clicked the campaign more than 5 times. Something's going on. So it's all big data these days. It's all about numbers. It's all about how do you get an advantage over other competitors. If someone's clicked on this 5 times, then I don't know if people use their tasks. I used to, but then you got too many tasks. So I kind of ignored it. 120 tasks. No one can complete that today. But but that's what you do. It adds to a task. Call these people because they've clicked on this more than 5 times. It's all numbers game these days. I think another thing that virtual and augmented experience. As I said, that's one of the things in the pipeline at the moment. Getting this virtual experience thing done on Second Life. Does it work? Not too sure. There's realestate.com has a virtual 3D option for your it's called Matterport. You can it up. It's, I don't know, they have a collaboration with them where you can score around and look at the house and, tip it upside down, all that rubbish. Does it work? Not too sure. Does it get you the buyers? Not too sure, but it looks like that. It's really cool. But the question is, are the people clicking on your ads genuine buyers, or are they just very minimal? Yeah.
It just really bugged me because I thought it was so brilliant.
It is beautiful. It's fabulous, but it's not cheap. The vendor has to pay for it, obviously. Okay, right. Wow. Yeah, it looks like that. It's a 3D virtual reality kind of thing. It's cool. It's a bit like the Premiere argument. I was in Carolee yesterday, or the day before, speaking to an agent down there, one of the leading agents, and he said to me, look, in Carolee, the Premiere is only $800. Well, that's cheap, right? Do people use it? And I said, look, it depends. You get a lot of clicks, but other clicks, your buyers, though. That's the age-old question. Yeah, you can show your vendor I've got 5,000 clicks, but there's no contract on the table. So what, Anyway, so that's that. Yeah, it's a good time. Look at that, exactly an hour. Any other questions for so there's some of the developments going on. So in terms of expansion, look, I think, as I said, the takeaway is please email me with a time and date. I will be down there literally with you, prospecting, just like I've done last week. I did that with quite a few agents. On Saturdays now, my job is to help you get listings. I think that's important. Myself and my sales managers, their job is to get us listings. And I think the best option is door knocking, literally going out there and knocking people's doors, because you are one-on-one with them. You're face-to-face. You're seeing them face-to-face, right? All these letters we send out, man, 1% return rate, 2%. Phone calls, even worse, 1 in 100, right? I think the best right now is OTMs over 60 or 90 days, door-to-door, face-to-face. The script I'm using at the moment is, look, people are moving in, we'll catch them next year. We got 2 listings in West End recently using that script. Excuse me, blah, blah, blah. We saw that your house in the market. I'm looking for active properties, for my buyers who wants to move into the Stay High catchment, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they go, okay, can I have an appointment next week? So the job is not to actually get the listing. It's actually get an appointment for the week. Like the one we had on Friday, he emailed us on the weekend and said, please come. He was begging us to come because he's really keen on selling his house. And unfortunately, his current agent, which is Ray White, he said to us, I paid $3,000. I'm pissed off, blah, blah, blah. Haven't got a contract. Come and help us. So fine. Common story. Nothing against Ray White. Could be anyone else. Nothing against Ray White. Ray White's a good company. No problems. On that note, any other questions? I'm going to pass over to Graham. Do you want an article up? There's an article about you, isn't there? There's a beautiful article about it. Do you want that? Just to show yourself? There's one about on bail. This development one. So I'm going to introduce Graham. It's this one, isn't it? So Graham and I supposed to belong. He's got quite a few. There's a newspaper article about you somewhere. I remember the night. There's a great newspaper article about Graham somewhere. Channel 9. Anyway, doesn't matter. So you can check his website too, LinkedIn. And there's a few things. There's a few things that he does. But look, Graham. I'll let me introduce myself. And so Graham. Graham's gone from a position of not so good.
Yeah.
No, it's very good.
I just want to introduce himself, and that way I can forget your name really quick. Lincoln. Oh, Lincoln. Sharaf, yeah. Okay. Lindy. Yeah. I'll remember Lindy probably. Well, for sure. And yeah, my name's Graham Jerry. I'm a property developer for a good few years,
and I ran into Paul a couple of years ago. He was trying to buy one of my blocks of land cheap, but it didn't work. But look, he just asked me to come along and just share my story, really. Who's ever had a bad day at work? I did, and nearly 20 years ago now. And I used to run a security company. I came from Victoria. I lived in Melbourne. I used to run a security company. I had my own security company, and I walked in on a search station that I was looking after at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was being held up. They drove out of there, and I chased them, ended up in a dead-end street. Long story short, I suffered post-traumatic stress disorder, and I ended up that sick and miserable, and that I couldn't work for 10 years. I had a carer. I couldn't even look after myself. I couldn't cook. I couldn't do anything, and it was miserable. You know, it took me down in and out of psych wards and all sorts of stuff, and even suicide attempts. I couldn't even stand to live. I was worse living than dying. I couldn't even do that, and so it was 10 years of hell. And I think a lot of it had to do with some of the medication. I got off that anyway, and my life started to slowly come back. And long story short, I moved up here. I got married and I moved up here, and I always run into barriers. You know, it was no matter what I did, how successful I get at things, there was always something in the road. Like walking into a glass wall, something seemed to stop me. And I came across, I'm just an average bloke really, and 5 years ago I came across one of my mentors in property actually had mentioned that I got divorced from the woman I came up here to get married to, and I was really angry. I couldn't get rid of the anger. It was just like knowing I was angry. Didn't do any good. Just like you want to lose weight, knowing how to lose weight doesn't help. So I was really angry, and I just couldn't get rid of it. And I heard my mate talk about a program called Landmark Education, the Landmark Forum. I didn't know what it was. Like I'd been to lots of things throughout my life trying to fix and change things, and it just felt like a square peg in a round hole sometimes. And I went to Tony Robbins, went to 10-day meditation retreats and all those sorts of things, and always looking to try and find out what was wrong and fix something. And because I just felt like that, like no matter how good I did things, how well I succeeded, there was always that glass wall in front of me that stopped me. Anyway, I went along to the Landmark Forum and to get rid of the anger, because it didn't matter what I did, I couldn't get rid of the anger. And it was the second time I got divorced. She cleaned me out, and I was angry about that. You know, it's not about her, it's about me. And so I went along there to see whether it could do anything with my anger, and I was blown away. She was really amazed that the second day the anger left me. But I heard this forum leader, and it was a 3.5-day course, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I heard the forum leader there talking about an already always listening. The penny really dropped for me, because I got from what she was saying that I'd never listened, because someone would say something and I always had something going on here as to know what they were going to say or question. And I was sitting there thinking, you know, thought you could dress better, this and haircut doesn't suit, judging everyone sitting around me, look at that. And I got to see that I was never really present, that I didn't listen, because of this thing they called already always listening. And I just sat there and the penny dropped, because I remember my mother when I was 6 years of age telling me I never listened. I didn't know what she meant, but I always thought it was her, that it wasn't clear. And I got to see how that's impacted me my whole life, you know, never really listening. And from there, I discovered the truth of my life, really. And I actually got complete with all the stuff around the robbery. I couldn't go in banks, I couldn't go shopping. Everything triggered me. I was hyper vigilant, and but I actually got to see the truth of my life, because in the Landmark Forum they talked about this what happens if something happens, and we actually make up a story about what happens, and we live in the story rather than what happened, and that's all in the past. But the worst thing was not in the past, and that's when I realised that when I was going to all these other things looking for an answer, that I was trying to fix something that was in the past, and you can't fix something that's gone. And so I sat there really eager and keen to listen to what they were talking about, and I got to see, like, I got to see that even before the armed robbery, I got to see so much of that, how that impacted me after the armed robbery, and it just made it worse. I got to see that as a 4-year-old, my dad used to hit me when I did the wrong thing with the garden hose. And I got to see that in that moment as a 4-year-old, I made up a story that people that love you hurt you. So I never trusted anyone my whole life. 60 years of age, and I get to see that I've never trusted anyone and wonder why 2 marriages broke down and that, you know, businesses go so well, and then there was always something there in the road. And I just got to see the truth of my life. And I also, another thing that was really impactful was that if I ever said no to my parents, I'd get the garden hose again. And so I learned not to say no, because I related saying no to the pain I experienced from the garden hose. And so I've never been able to say no all my life. The closest I could get was crap, tell someone to F off, you know, because I just couldn't say no. And it was the most profound thing that I've ever done. And that's what has given me the access to do what I do today. Like, from someone that couldn't look after themselves and tried to kill themselves numerous times, and today I got in the forum that I survived at first suicide for temporary reason. I ended up on a life support and I shouldn't have even survived 3 days on life support. And today I can stand here and talk about it. It's got has no power over me. No, you know, in the past it controlled me. I was so embarrassed and ashamed. And I even got to see the embarrassment and shame of things that I'd made up about, stories about things that had happened back in my childhood, and I just continued to carry it. When things happened like that, I had all this guilt and shame. And I got complete with the whole thing, the robbery, the guy that, you know, and I even made up a story because I was so bad that I'd been shot, and I hadn't. I got to see in the forum, I'd made up a story because I got so bad, and to try and justify the way I was. And, you know, all it is now is like another page in the story of my life. And, you know, I tell people, and I'm open and about where I went, because I've been able to help people, and that's what I got from the forum as well, that I survived all that for a reason, to make a difference to people. And that's why I came here today, actually, just to share some of my story, because I'm no more unique than anyone else, no worse, no better. But all that stuff of the robbery and my whole life is just like another page in the story of my life. It's got no power anymore. And so, you know, I just got to unpack my life and get to see, because the last war was all that stuff in the past. And the more I looked at it, the more I saw that that's what it was. And in the Landmark Forum, I actually got to see their education about getting out of the road, what's in the road, to be able to get what you want. You know, they work with relationships, finances, health, whatever it is, whatever's impacting anybody, and it's available through the Landmark Forum. And I don't come here today representing the Landmark Forum, but that's what's giving me the freedom I've got, and that's what gave me the freedom to do what I do as a property developer. I heard about doing no money down deals years ago, and I used to think, who would give me money? And because of the stories I had about money, I grew up in a pretty poor family and never had much. It's the stories that I made up about not having much, and through the Landmark Forum, I do all my deals, my property deals. I've never borrowed a cent off the banks. Most of my deals I do with cash, and it's because the Landmark Forum, what I got there was I got to put all my past in the past. And when you do that, it's like a blank table. You have a blank canvas in front of you, you can do anything you want. You get to create a possibility of whatever it is you want, and you create it. And I created being a property developer and doing no money down deals. And I've done millions of dollars worth of deals, and I've never put a dollar into it. And I've come across, that's how I came across Paul. He rang about a property I had for sale. And, you know, it's so profound what I've got from it. And it moves me. And I can stand here and be in tears and all that stuff because it comes up. But it's tears of gratitude. And I'm not embarrassed. Once upon a time, I'd be here reading the face and embarrassed, making a fool of myself. Today, I don't care. You know, I'm just who I am. I've got to discover who I really am. And I didn't know. It's 60 years to work out who you are. So, you know, and so if you think you had a bad day, that was bad for me, but everybody's got a bad day, whether it's in their life, whether it's in their work, the relationships, finances, all things go on. And it's what it does to us individually, not what the incident is. Because I used to think there's something wrong with me. I've allowed myself to end up like I am. And it's all right. I see people go to war. I can understand why they suffer like they do. But there's something wrong with me to allow it. I used to think I allowed what happened to me to happen. And it's not. It's just, it was what happened. I got injured in an armed robbery. When they diagnosed me with a condition called post-traumatic stress disorder, I became the diagnosis. I lived into that 10 years. 10 years. The doctors didn't do me much good. I went to professors and all that. And where it started was when I had an argument with the professor, and I basically told him to get off. And I went into detox with all these heroin addicts and got off everything. And then the journey started. Then I found Lima. I wish I'd have found it years ago. It doesn't matter. I found it. No, it was profound. And that was 2013 I found it. And it's everlasting. It's not like rather go and walk on fire and build you up with music and then 6 months later you're still where you are. It's been profound. It's changed my life. It's changed a lot of my family. And my ex-wife has done it. And the mother of my kids, a couple of my kids have done it. And the type of relationship I've got with them today, amazing. I can be honest and authentic. It's completed our breakdown, our marriage breakdown over how it ended up as a result of that. Like, I became angry. I didn't know what it was. I was totally lost. Today I've got direction, and anybody can have anything they want in their life, and that's what I'm here to give you that message today. That anyone can have anything in their life, and if there's something that's not working, an area of your life that's not working as well as you like, the landmark forum can actually not fix it, because you can't fix something of the past. You can actually create a possibility around it, and you can create anything you want how to participate in the landmark forums available. So that's me. That's just a quick story. You saw me standing here, you wouldn't have thought I'd been through that. But the thing is, I went through it, I came out of it, and I am the person I am today as a result of doing the landmark forum. If anyone's got any questions about it, I'm in another programming. I'm at the Landmark Education now. I'm actually training to be an introduction leader, to lead introductions to the Landmark Forum. We have, and I'm not there yet, but we have regular introductions where people get to come along with a 3-hour session and have a look at it. Come along and do a workbook exercise where you get to look at an area you like that maybe it's not working or not working as well as you like. Or even an area that's working that you want to go to the next level with it. And you get to do a workbook exercise, you get to see the sorts of results in that 3 hours that's available in that area of life, and it's available in any area of life. That's it. Anyone got any questions?
Oh, powerful stuff. Powerful stuff.
How did you, once you exited, finished the landmark forum, how did you know what it was, what was going to drive and what you wanted to do?
I just created what I wanted. I created a possibility. Yeah. I created a possibility of what I wanted. As everyone said to me, everyone goes broke doing property development. I once said I was going to do it with other people's money. Who will give you money? You don't know what you're doing. I did a course, and even just doing the course wouldn't have been enough, because it's stuff in the past was stopping the same stuff that I had around who's going to lend me money for 20 years. And and it's not psychology, it's what they call transformational learning. And that's why you get amazing results in 3 days, 3.5 days. And it was the cheapest course I've ever done, and the most profound. It cost me $835 for 3.5 days. So, yeah. I'm not here to punch it down people's throats, but this came, Paul asked me if I'd come and have a chat to you, and I'm about making a difference to people. So if it's made a difference to you, I'm glad.
Thanks, Graham. Appreciate it very much. Well done. Well done. Look, I've got to definitely back up Graham. My wife and I have both done that. Mark, it's a lot of the thing about what we've done is psychology. It's 100% psychology. I think we were saying about this before, Ron. The method's very easy. Going out there, prospecting, getting listings. The method is proven. It works. But you know what? 99% of people don't do it. They just don't do it. What's the analogy? The prospecting is like a diet. People know it works, right? But 99% of people don't stick to it. But, you know, it's the same thing in real estate, anything, you know, what Graham shared and what my wife and I, you know, a few years ago, we were working full time. We were sick of our jobs. You know, I told you, we're both highly educated, but we were sick of our jobs. We said, what can we do to make it a little bit different? Instead of 9 to 5 and it's boring and you have to travel to work, you have to listen to your boss go, blah, blah, blah. How do you escape that? And that was all psychology, 100% all psychology. And the same thing in real estate, you know, all this stuff, all this prospecting methods, you can watch videos on this. There's tons and tons of stuff. We've got Tom Panos. I don't know how much resources on Tom Panos, but that's not going to get you listings. It's the psychology. It's actually getting out there. That's why I don't mind spending a day, half a day, 3 to 6, sitting with you in the car. I do that with a few other agents, you know, as you know. I don't mind doing that. I just don't mind doing that because it's the psychology. The method's actually quite easy. Once you get in front, it's actually the psychology to get in front of someone, a vendor, and ask them, look, you know, do you need some help? Very simple question to ask. I guarantee 99% of agents won't do that. It's the fear factor. I can't be bothered factor. I'm lazy, whatever factor. You make excuses to yourself, don't you?
And the fear is also, you know, it's one thing that we really look at, fear and anxiety. In fact, everyone at some point in their life, and it's wrong in the past. And the biggest area that we deal with is what they call blind spots. We're so blind that we don't even know they're there. And they're in the bag, and you get to discover what it is. But more impactfully, you get to be able to just put it behind you. And it's not in your future anymore because you lived into it. And that's why you get the same results over and over again. And you get to unpack it, put it into the past, and then there's nothing there. You've got a clean slate, create whatever you want. And that's what, you know, I've been to courses. You see people go to property courses or share courses, whatever it is. And they've got the same information as me. Why I became so successful and these other people didn't.
Yeah.
I've got to take out of the road what was in the road and create what I wanted.
Yeah, I think the line that our mentor always uses is, if the knowledge is so simple, everyone knows the knowledge. You know, subdivision isn't hard. All the civil engineers would be millionaires, but not millionaires because of psychology, right? And that's exactly the same thing with real estate agents, right? You know, the method is so easy. if everyone could just prospect, right, 1 hour from 3 to 6 on a daily basis, I guarantee you everyone will make a lot of money. Guarantee you. And it's all about psychology. I can't be bothered. I'm making excuses. I've got to pick up my kids. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. And then before you know it, the day's gone.
So, I go around the table. What's an area that you'll stop in? Or not working as well as you like? I know you didn't expect to come along here.
Adam wants to quit his job.
Yeah, well, yeah, I work his job time during the week, so I quit my job and do real estate full time. I've actually heard you speak before a couple of times, actually, in calls.
Oh, okay.
So.
And I couldn't do that for years either.
Yeah.
And it's what gave me the access to have the confidence to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same. I've tried for 20 years, reading Robert Kiyosaki books 20 years ago and trying to use that method to get out of work, and it just seems like there's a roadblock. I totally, like what you said, really resonates with me. And I've got businesses over in Perth, big businesses over in Perth, and I just,
There's people, world-class CEOs, and everyone worldwide, clerics, professors, that have done the landmark for them. Lululemon was a fashion label down in Sydney. The guy that had that wanted to grow his business, and he just didn't know what it was. And he went and did the landmark for it, grew it to $200 million business and sold it. He put all his staff through the landmark for it because he got to be able to have an authentic, real conversation with his productivity just went through the roof. So he gave integrity. Oh, pretty good. Yep. Yeah, it's a little kind of process. What I do, I think I have no phone call.
tucked in it, and obviously a lot of those hidden benefits. So what depends on the market. We got to see that.
That you say it depends on the market. The market. This is a story you've got about the market, and that comes from what would it be like if you had in your future that I can get listings wherever I want. That's the sort of breakthrough you can get in just that one area. I'm not trying to be smart when I say the market's the market, because we make up stories about everything. We don't even know we do it. It's just we say things that just comes out. And
and then out of 10,
That's right. Yeah.
on there it just happens about 10, 12, 10, 12 weeks. Probably 1 or 2 appointments. Yeah, of course. And then appointment eventually.
And like I think it was the last of the shopping day, like nothing. Just nothing, no one was too keen. Got a door shut in the face and stuff like that.
Really?
But then, the following week, I got the case to a free.
A lot about this and this thing, and I'm prospecting on door to door now. What I realized is that around the area, not and the road, it's a lot of things. This is the thing we also do. This is what happens when you stop, parents, those things.
the thing we distinguish as well called our cause and matter. I had to recently I needed 4 people for something, and I made 53 phone calls that day. I needed 4 people to do something for me, like 6 o'clock at night. Like 12 o'clock, I never had anyone. Just after 12 o'clock, I had one person. I kept ringing. By 4:30, I had 4 people organised to do what I needed. And it's cause and matter. What do you think happened?
I was also again a little bit up. I started more coming up. Something funny was I come good that I come into the car. Usually I found the car by the time I come back to the car, it's all the things but doing that what to be true, and we just saw the smoke coming down there, and I was fast to ring it. I rang 111 because I just came from here.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and I think otherwise
Great. What about you? Anything that you're stopped in? Not working as well as you'd like?
Yeah, I think one of the excuses I just started a few days ago, and Paul very generously already gave me some listings, and that's probably that I haven't been so desperate to try to get these things.
So you're thinking, giving it to me on the plate and I'm being able to do it.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm new to this thing, so people, saying real things, and I'm trying my best to get what I want, but my background is from nursing, so I was tired of doing what I wanted to get into business. So I'm looking forward.
And the students, I can remember you.
Well, yeah, the hustle hunting. Yeah.
Probably speaking for everybody, we just, well, I'm in 30 years, so I'm 30 years actually. So, we won MVP as well, and the one before the administration.
the trust me, he was the we've been offered another position, sort of like a journey to hell as well. The barrier that I had to overcome after all those years was good enough. We now live in Australia, and we've got myself and you, Michelle, and and two other sales people who have all been with me all those years.
And consider, and am I good enough? That what you said? That was my first. You consider that is being there waiting for that. Absolutely. Yeah. Somewhere back in
John, ever since we made the decision, everyone's been saying, why didn't you do it sooner?
And so I had to change my thinking. So, difficult transition. Used to managing it and then the whole thing forward. But I do like that's a problem with prospecting. And I guess once I get discipline in my teeth, I'm okay. I think I'm just going to have to work the numbers. Just keep working the numbers until I think control that. Well, I'm very happy to do that.
Put it on.
Actually, I wrote down Paul to remind me that afterwards he is prepared because I'll walk on hot coals if I can. Yeah. But really, it's just a case of getting with this person. I mean, just what I picked up today, listening to this man, is amazing. I mean, I really think it should open my mind a bit. I mean, this business is fully. I had a block of land in Ballarat I bought a house. Yeah, the idea of subdividing. And it wasn't in the was. If you don't know about subdivision, you can really burn the toes. You make money, you can lose your church. Yeah. As it turned out, I'm doing okay on the position, but I went in and I'm eager. Yeah. I think the one thing that I've managed over the years is I've had several different types of careers. I've been in marketing, I've been in sales, I've been in manufacturing, and I know that you can change, and you can pick up and it's a case of doing it anyway. And all I would like to take out on your listing offer.
Let's go.
No problem. And put in whatever you
Oh, no, it's nothing like that. It's a partnership. It's just something that we've come up with, and it works.
Yeah,
it works. It works.
You show me the customer.
No, I'm not.
I love that thing you told us putting people gives me a better understanding of that market.
This is the math. Okay, so if you're doing splitter blocks, give it to Graham. Graham will have cash. Isn't that right? Cash, unconditional, settlement 1 week, guaranteed.
Yeah. That's what I got access to be. I don't even look at this anymore. They find me, they search me out, and that's because of what I got from doing my master. That I'm worth all that, and it's my skills that people come searching for because their money's sitting in the bank, doesn't make money. No. Ends up paying the translation when you're taking place, it's no harm. So, what about you? What's not working in your life? How would you like?
I guess very briefly on exploratory logistics and was a roadblock for a couple of years. And this gentleman down here in the trail, I won't use the word harassing. He rang me. But these islands that come on board, along the story, so I've been on that September this year. It's been a great journey for guess one of the things I enjoy this industry is I have retired for about 2.5 years, and I need to get back into this headstroke in relation to I love to enjoy getting people having conversations. I love relationship building and all that sort of part of life. Really. Yeah. In terms of where I'm sitting here today, I love you, what can I do better? Well, I'm a great believer is I want something every day in life, and I still stick with that until I go 60, doesn't it? Don't worry, I'm not sure is. But I know I can do better than what I'm doing at the moment. I know I can do better. So looking at the moment on the whiteboard in my mind, saying that what am I doing which is an ordinary career is rather aggressive assessing myself. What am I doing well? What am I doing effectively enough? Bang right forward. And then I try and put my way through how best I try and improve on that. I'll give a very good example. One of the excuses that I use in the soil is a fact. It's a fact. I've lived in New Guinea for 6 years, I've lived in Singapore for 2 years, and I was sweating first time, I think, no idea. One of the issues I have going prospecting is if I go down to the Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, this shirt here, mate, is she's wet. So I guess it's my military background and all things, so this is about dress code. Does that make sense? Yeah. I just really like the forum and say, you know, I love the world, everyone will be thinking, my God, you know, where that's if you run from. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I've got to manage somehow the other. So what's the workaround with that is either use the phone or whatever in this file way. Well, this phone is falling forward directly. The last week and a half is something I learned at Ray White, and it's working for me at the moment, and that is that obviously there's a pipeline has a certain number of relationships who worked on for 12, 18 months, but you keep going back to them every 3 months in my religion. So what I do now is go to Christmas card, put the door knock for the Christmas card. The latest thing I've done now is, you know, on the website we've talked about, speak about us. About us. I crazy that slightly, put a pretty bad one, and use the shortlist to what they call the recognition, innovation. So I've got that at the bottom, one I should start apartment on right. I've got knocked on the doors the last week or so, Everton Hills and also New Down with success. And they say, Ron, what is your big right one? I told them the truth. You know, I told them the truth. Blatantly correct. And I was saying before, I'm glad of that. I've got much probably 3 of my pipeline. 2 on the city next month, isn't it? It's just for the Christmas card. Ron, I saw you 3 months ago. Last time I saw you was probably around Easter Bunny time. I woke up with an Easter egg or something of that nature with me. But that particular one model of the car is how many Christmas cards I've dropped off in the last 6, I don't know, the last 2 days, must probably 60 Christmas cards. I drive an air-conditioned car, also I don't get too bad.
So here's something I think Ron can do, and that is subdividable blocks, splitters. Because Graham always needs people to look out for these blocks. Right? You can find them, but it's another matter of prospecting them. Right? We have to knock on people's doors. And how many contracts you send out? Tons. Hundreds of contracts. Unconditional.
I probably send out 1,000 letters a month.
1,000 letters a month. Yeah, but we, you know, this is you can utilize us. You know, and that's something you can do at home in the comfort of your home. We could probably Graham's probably more an expert at this, but we can teach you how to find subdividable blocks and splitters and that kind of stuff.
Then we've got problem splitters. There are 2 lots of on 5. You can get them real quick.
Yeah.
Well, they don't work as they want to. Well, look, you got to pay. You know, I can settle quick on them. And that's not what I'm paying you, but if you come across them, I'm a businessman, you guys are there to sell stuff. And you get a happy customer if you sell stuff in a week.
Yeah. Yeah, 7 Ds, right? 7 Ds.
Can I just say my block?
Not a block.
I primarily done admin.
Yep.
I want to do the income. You know, the fixed income. So I've done the loan. This venture, this opportunity, and we can only say, and this is the truth, the day Lindsay and Michelle came back to me for whether what we want or not. You know, it was just like this opportunity landed at the best time ever, and we were so excited to have it laugh. You know, I do have a lot of things, oh my God, what are we doing? But then we get on sitting in a guy who's always got the last part booked, and we don't move forward. And, you know, and eventually I'd like to jump a bit. At the moment I'm doing the admin side of things. So I'd like to try to challenge the board coming up as well.
No problems.
Well, I've got to be able to have some and that's it. The things later, though, I might see a confidence.
So what would be like you to, you know, to have that confidence and to be able to get the other side of the desk and do whatever you want to do? What would that open up with?
Oh,
Suicide. And then what would that be like if you could retire early? I travel a lot because I don't do much.
Well, that was the other thing. I've gone into this venture is that I've got my help, and I've been locked to this. I can now juggle the admin side of things and stuff that you want to get everything to feel and then actually have to say, well, I'm off this afternoon, I'm going to, you know, but we're hard workers. We're at the time of 7:30 generally. We're very self-disciplined. Lindsay might be getting a better time. I will, you know, we always say good morning, you know, like it's the office, which is sort of funny.
And that's the sort of, you know, I get the family's important to you, and it's important to me, and it's probably important to everyone.
Yeah.
Last Christmas, all my children, their wives, grandchildren, my ex-wife, my partner, we all went to Bali for 10 days. I'll never forget that, you know.
Yeah.
That, and like, a lot of my kids didn't talk to me because of the way I ended up, and even my ex-wife. And now, after I've done that, mate, the relationship I've been able to build with them allows me to be able to do that. That really moves me. How many people can say they go away with their kids, grandkids, their ex-wife, and current partner? Because there's nothing in the road, you know? Everything's complete.
No, it's good. No, it's great. It's great, Graham. Okay, so I guess I didn't have burning questions. For the guys on the phone, we need to go back. Sorry. So I'll be in Sydney doing exactly the same thing tomorrow. You know, I know Daniel's on the phone and a few other people, but we got a listing on the upper north shores of Sydney, $4.5 million house. Doing exactly the same thing. The method is exactly the same. Tennis court, swimming pool, that works. I've got a listing opportunity tomorrow in the eastern suburbs. This guy, you know, exactly the same thing. I'm knocking his door. $60 million house in Vaucluse. Exactly the same method. He said, look, who are you? I said, this is me, blah, blah, blah. Come on in. I'll show you my house. You know, I'm sick of the previous agent. I said, okay, no problem. The story is exactly the same. They're just people. They're just people. You know, it doesn't matter how rich or poor they are. They're just people. And so, you know, I would say two things out of this. Number one is, please take up on the offer. I would love to go with you. I've been with you. I've been with Adam and a few other people, you know, but I would love to go with every single one of you to do that. And this is about the authentic nature. When I say I would do it, I would do it. I would do it. And the second thing, I suppose, is developments. Maybe we'll run another session later on about developments. And you don't have to list properties. Most agents are very basic. You know, bread and butter. I'm going to list. I'm going to sell. I'm going to list. I'm going to sell. Not true. Two things today. Number one, you can find splitter blocks for existing investors. And I guarantee you get a contract. You're going to buy here already. You know, I have a few investors myself, but give it you can make the money. You know, it's $150K, $200 to pop. Or eventually you might want to do it yourself, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is you can make money by finding money. By finding money. As I said to you, we've got a guy that I'm looking for $40 million. Bill and I were sitting across this gentleman last week, right? Developer, $40 million, 3% commission, finder's fee, $1.2 million. Let's go. So this Friday, we're going to sit down with this guy again, same thing, right? You don't have to sell any properties. We make a few phone calls. We make $1.2 million. Everyone's happy.
100%. I've got a mile and a half car park attendant
his first name.
Yeah. Yeah.
One day, this car park thing might be like
That's right. Good motto.
Thanks for that experience.
Good motto.
I won't worry that story. Car park is saved my mate in getting these board meetings. And he's not just the car park. I'm not just any.
That's right. Yeah.
You will be handy to say that in 2 years later.
Well, actually, like what you're saying, I mean, you're right, all the agents are just basically this sell. When you build up a network and a relationship, just like Graham was saying, actually, when you're doing the whole list of surgeons and doctors, yes, their income's high.
That's right.
And like myself, I've got a lot of properties I've sold online. I love doing my marketing, and so do a lot of the vendors, because they know that you're genuine. And like I bought Dr. Ali, which I'm still closing, which is a splitter block.
No names. No names.
Going up there, it's about 2.5 million, 3 million for it. But it's a beautiful house, and it's already got 2 titles. So I've just got to find that middle range of negotiating. Almost there for around 2.75. But it's great when you can just bring someone through.
That's right.
For a second time.
That's right.
It shows you genuine.
Yep.
You know? Who's going to go with when actually, if it doesn't go through, he wants to lose the problem. But it's just so important to have that network of people around you. That's what. In the reserves, they're going to be really happy to sell their property. Yeah, we did that with this. I think it was St. Lucia. We sold block of units.
That's great. Great example. Yeah.
LMR2, and it was 4 units. And it was only 670 square meters. We literally need 800. Mm-hmm. So what I've done is gone to the house behind because I'm about to live in church. So I slowly learned that that's going to be an off-market deal because it's 2 3 5. But it's good when you get that list of clients. You know,
So this VIP client, we met him through an open one 2 or 3 years ago. We kept in touch. I don't know how many times he's called me. Can we do a development together? Can we do a development together? I've got money. You want how much money you want? $1 million? No problem. Here's $1 million. You know, he's looking for splitters. He's looking for there's people left, right, and center with money. You know the client very well. Yeah, he's always looking for deals. He's got tons of cash, no time, tons of cash. Anyway, on that note, so any questions? Are on the phone? Any questions? I'll be in Sydney tomorrow. So I'll see some of you in the meeting tomorrow. We'll sit down, have a chat. How big do you want, Graham? 800? Okay, you guys can talk. You guys can talk. All right. On that note, there's biscuits on the table. I will make up to you guys down in Sydney and Melbourne when I get down there with biscuits. There's coffee and tea in the back. Socialize, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Thank you very much. And if you miss the session, it's recorded too. See you guys.
Thanks, Paul.
Bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
If anyone's interested in chatting